Everybody, welcome to the live stream. Just going to check and see how we're doing here, see if it's actually showing up. And yep, looks like it's showing up now. Can you hear me in the comments? I had a lot of trouble with the audio this week, so. All right, so the thing is, I'm going to make an add-on. It's going to be very simple. And so I ran into a little problem today where I really wanted to go into the themes under the viewport and change colors, but like all these extra operations are kind of a pain. And plus I wanted a couple of extra bonuses there. So I wanted to make an add-on. So we're going to be doing that with Serpens, and I'm going to go over scripting. And you don't have this unless you have Serpens, but I've got a visual scripting editor, okay? Pretty cool. I'll just click new. It works almost like geometry nodes. It's super cool. So once I've got the Serpens stuff up here, there's a few things to set up. I definitely want this to be on preferences, because what's going to happen here is the blend data browser is going to pop up once I select it. And that's going to allow me to go in and find some finite operations, functions, integers, booleans, and strings, which is really cool. And I'm not going to go into, teaching Serpens right now. So let's get started. So I click new, and now the first thing I'll do is I'm going to hit Shift-A. It works just like GeoNodes. And then if I press S, I could type in panel. Now the panel is effectively writing into the 3D view UI. So if we come down to settings, and this is really cool, you'll see the Python code that this is actually creating. So it creates the BL_info block, which is going to tell Blender this is an add-on that's going in the 3D viewport in the end panel, okay? Excuse me. And so you can change the category name and a bunch of other things. And I'm just going to go ahead and pull this up. It says new category, and we're going to rename this. Instead of new category, it's going to be Viewport Themes. And this add-on, I'm going to make this available and free. If it helps you guys out, awesome. So now that I've got the panel, and this is the simplicity of Serpens, I highly recommend, you get to using it. Because I've already made like 5 add-ons. I've got the bevel magic. I've got the hard surface toolbox. I've got a few others that I haven't actually released. I do have the add-on light magic and the bevel magic, which the bevel magic's free. And I tried to make the light add-on free, but it's got to be charged 51 cents on the Blender market, because I'm not going to pay them $35 a month to give away free stuff. All right, so here's the cool thing. I found this today, just had to share it. So if I come in here and I get what's called a popover node, and the popover node effectively steals part of the viewport. It's so cool. So if I come back to the layout, actually, I'll select this, and it's going to highlight everything. So I can steal the menu from anywhere in here. Now, even though my hard surface toolbox, I didn't do that at all. And I wanted like a few different menus, and I just learned that you can do this. So if I go to edit, go to preferences, and I got to exit the blend data browser, it's going to try to make me select it right here, but I'm going to come to 3D view and come all the way to the bottom. And it should give me, actually, I got to bug out. Go over here. It should give me a little pop up down here. And for some reason, it's not showing that. So let's see. No, it's not showing it this time. That is muy interesante. So let's go down here to the viewport browser. Yeah, so it's not popping anything up just yet. Get some live troubleshooting here. Viewports panel. Yep, that's it. It should just be working. Maybe I got a little interference here because I have more than one of these open. Yep, that was it. I got more than one of them open. Okay, no big deal. So go back to the layout and the viewport, and boom. Now I've got this, and I can extrapolate that list. And here's the fun thing. If I select this object, and the popover is cool because it doesn't take a lot of space, even though there's a big list here, I can get the active object and start screwing around with the color on that. I kind of always like it at orange, that brighter orange. It makes sense, but if you want, you can change it now. So it can be blue because we want to customize things in the viewport. All right, so that is accomplished. Now, for the next thing, I actually wanted to, and got my phone, which I'm watching the comments if there are any, decided to take a dive on me. The next thing I want to do is I want to add another panel to this, and I'm thinking about the 3D viewport, what's going to make sense. So I go to the active object here and come down to perhaps viewport display, and maybe I want name to show up as I click on it. So I'm going to grab that, and I can get the serpent's property. And then I come back over here, and I could have done that here, but it just makes more sense to keep this layout the way it is, so I can just kind of keep my display like that so I can see what's going on. So now I want a new button, and Shift A, just like in GeoNodes, S to search, type in button. And it's not getting too much harder than this for this setup. So now I want to display a property down here, and that's a checkbox. So it's a Boolean, and so I have to create a special operation for that. And there's a few ways to do this, but to create a display property is the right way to do that. And then Shift V will drop in the show name objects, and you can see it's got a property just like a geometry node's geometry wire that cannot be connected to anything else. And so if I connect that, I now have a button, which is cool. And now I can come in here and choose a label. So we'll just call this view object name. Okay, I went to the wrong thing. View object name. Capitalize that so it looks better. And I can turn this to label perhaps, because if you don't label the display property, it's not going to come up. Actually, let's just click this to show name, because that would be what's appropriate. And I don't like this button sitting here. It looks kind of ugly the way it is. So I'm going to hit Shift S, and I'm going to type in box. And so if you guys get this, you can just follow along sometimes. And what that's going to do is it's going to isolate not only that button, but this Boolean operation. It's going to isolate both of those, which is pretty cool. So now I should be able to come over here and turn on the object name on and off. And the operator, that's trying to call an operator actually, but that's okay. I'll fix that before I pump this out so you guys can have it. And like I said, you've got all of the different items in here. And if you don't know what something is, you got different lights, the camera, different things in here you can go through. You can change it all. Pretty cool. Now I do want to add one more thing to this before I am done. And I actually want to change the icon to this. Let's see if it has an icon that's appropriate, because I could effectively do whatever I want. Let's see here. All right. You can just choose an icon. I'm just trying to show the name. And so this is like another thing you can do. You can just come in here and find a custom one, or you can type it in. Sometimes it's going to have that. Type in view. Oh, cool. They've got a Fractor type, text type. That's cool. So show name. That kind of works a little bit better, kind of like that. And I wonder if I can usurp that because I have the operator. Yep, so that works. I don't have to have the button in there, so go ahead and fix that right now. And then I've got the pop over menu, and I just want to do one more thing. Anybody got a request for something they want to see, just put it in the comments, and whether I can find it now or not is irrelevant because I'll find it and put it in the add-on and make it free. So I've got the show name, got the grid, and there was actually one more thing I wanted. Bounding box, not really. Since it's viewport, I think it's important to have the cavity shown on this. So if you come here and go to cavity, this really should be on so you can see your edges and show the ridge values and things like that. And so we can go ahead and grab that property for sure. And I'm going to go back over here. And I probably can get away with another display property inline. Hopefully we don't crash anything out. Okay, I'm going through the box. Didn't want to do that. All right, so now I need another property for this. And I can hit Shift V and straighten all this up. Boom. And I remember this one being a little bit more of a pain to get it to work correctly. And I might want to do an operation on that. All right, so for some reason, this one does not want to show as a display property. No problem. I'm gonna plug in something else here. I've got something breaking. Something's breaking my my code here because nothing else is now showing up. Gonna just erase a few of these. And let's try it like that. And I'll make a custom operator for this. Pretty cool. And a set property. And I might be able to take this one now and plug it in here to get my checkbox. And let's do this as custom. Yeah, we can add directional lights. I've actually got the light add-on for that. You guys can go pick that up free. And so this one's actually already available, which is really cool, but you can drop in any type of light that Blender has to offer. That includes 3-point lights, which is pretty cool. And it's kind of showing up inside my mesh, but that's okay. And then, of course, you can change that to make it a spot or whatever you want to make it. And yeah, we can add something like that in there as well, but not going to do that on the live. Just going to troubleshoot this one for a moment. Let's see here. And I'll pull up this as operator because it'll list the name. So if I want just to call this cavity, it's going to switch right here as well. And usually the check button shows up once you select Boolean here. And it's not showing up for some reason. And try it here one more time. Yeah, it's breaking the code. So, and kind of breaking the rules here. I'm using 3.6, so I'm probably getting a little bit of a bug. And I'll switch back to the blender here, and that's weird because that usually would work. I'm going to save this in the add-ons as live, and I want to open up mine because it's odd. I'll go to the main graph here. So I've got quite a few things already kind of built in a bunch of different node graphs. And I feel like I've already got cavity built into this one. Yeah, so that's weird that it's not working. So I've got row nodes, operators, columns, carver tool, toggle quad view, which is fun. So you can toggle your quad view. And if you don't know the hard surface toolbox, I've been working on that one, and you've got hard surface models that I made that you can just put in there. I know there's a cone in there, but I'm going to take that out at some point. I may not. All right, so here's the show cavity that's working on this operation, and I've got it going through a massive amount of stuff. I don't know why it's not working over there. So I might have to select this. I think I know what I did not do. I think I got to go in and select that under the context menu. So I'll pull the live stuff back up here. All right, so this is a cool feature. I'm kind of glad this happened. So if you pull up the preferences, okay, and then you click the blend data browser, you get this little monstrosity here, and you got to go to context, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull down viewport shading, go to cavity, and right click it, and then I can click copy context. And what that does is it gives me the context of all the pointer properties, objects, and different things. And I may or may not necessarily find it during the live, but if not, I'll do it afterwards. So under the active, nope. This should be a Boolean operation. It does tell you right here is hold out, show access, bounds. I'll just make sure I didn't go past it. Shadow catcher. And these are all the proper Boolean pointers, if you will. Am I missing cavity? Does anybody see that I'm going past it? I very well could. It would be very easy, and it's not going to be under functions. Yeah, so I got a couple bugs going here. All right, so I'm going to copy the context, maybe of the entire area here. Let's see what we can do. I got a better idea. Copy that context. I'll go into the search and type in cavity. Nope. View. Free space shading settings. Show cavity. There it is. Little troublemaker. All right, so that really should have worked. And if this doesn't, then it's just bugging out. I'll have to fix it later. So Shift V drops that in. It's already a Boolean, and it is breaking the moment I put it in there, which is awesome. Go back to the custom operator and the set property. No property connected. Yeah, that's breaking when I do it. Let me pull a label out of there. Maybe I'm getting fussed by that. And go back to regular Blender. Nope, so I got a bug. Didn't expect that. No big deal. We can add, I'll figure that out and add it later. Kind of unfortunate because I really wanted to show that. But anyway, so you get the name on and off. Very simple setup. And then, of course, you've got the drop down box, which I think I actually unplugged. Go back and plug that bad boy in. And I got my box node. Unfortunate. Clean all this up. And this one should still be pointing, but something happened and it broke the code down. So that's kind of going to be a restart. Even though it compiled successfully, that doesn't mean anything. So interesting. I'm just going to try to select it one more time because that's all bugged out. Go back here, go to Edit, Preferences, go to the 3D Viewport. Yeah, select a different panel. Well, shame on me for using this in the Blender 3.6, but like I said, I haven't had any problems with it. So just understand, if you do this, it's buggy and it's going to crash a lot if you get this add-on. But I did make the hard surface toolbox through a lot of pain. That's going to bug a little bit, so I think I want to try to replug that in and reset it. I'm going to make this work at some point. And one more shot at it, and then I'm basically done. And 3D Viewport. I know this is not the best live in the world, but there it is. See, it's just insanely buggy. And this is the kind of thing you're going to go through if you try to set this up and do this. So, I mean, it is an absolute headache. So I got the show name and I've got the setup here. That's basically all that is actually going to work today. I do want to, one more time, now that it's kind of working, you're supposed to just be able to string these together, and I've done that plenty. No, not going to work in the live. Okay, no big deal. I appreciate everybody hanging out, watching me go ahead and troubleshoot and hit my head up against the wall. But I'm going to add a couple things to this and put this on the Gumroad free, and I will put a link to it in the community page. So appreciate everybody watching, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.